'Cause it's my movie, my superhero movie. It's all about me, yeah, it's all about me. 'Cause it's my movie, my...
The Last Act is finally available to watch in cinemas, provided you live in a country where it's played. I do happen to live in one of those. So me, despite being a pretty casual digital circus watcher, decided to go see it. I was pretty worried going into this film, as unfortunately the entire thing got leaked 2 weeks before release. And the people who saw said leaks were acting like this was a complete dumpster fire. So now that I've watched it, what do I think?
I liked it.
I don't know, I thought it was just fine. I have my issues with how some things were handled, and I don't think it's amazing or anything, but the way people were talking about it when it leaked, you would have thought it was absolute dog shit. So let's go over some of my thoughts without getting into any spoilers first.
Aren't I a little short for Fortnite?
One thing I'm not hearing anyone discuss really is how good the animation is. If you go back and watch the pilot, you can really see just how far the visuals have come. Even the direction I thought was pretty interesting this episode. I really enjoyed how some of the flashbacks were framed. Animation wise, I have absolutely nothing to complain about. Everything looks much more polished. I also think this episode nails the tone. With Kane gone, the cast is really in the worst possible scenario, and that is portrayed perfectly through the bleak visuals, music, and voice acting. They still sprinkle in some jokes and lighter moments, but overall the episode is a lot darker, and I think that was done really well. But where things start getting a bit iffy for me is the plot and characters. Starting off with the latter, if you already had a problem with how the character focus is a tad bit uneven in the last few episodes, episode 9 is no different. The screen time is not evenly distributed whatsoever. I honestly think this show would have greatly benefited from being just slightly longer. Even 2 or 3 more episodes would have been enough. I feel like entire sections of episode 9 would have been so much better as their own episodes. This would also allow us to flesh out the other characters more, give the plot more time to breathe, and allow the characters to interact more with each other. Seriously, from episodes 1 to 8, how many times do Pomni and Zubul talk to each other? How many conversations do they have? I couldn't tell you, but it's definitely not a lot. There are also some really strange decisions of how some of the character arcs end, to some truly baffling dialogue at points. Genuinely, there were points where I was watching this movie and I was just sat there looking like this. Now, having said all that, the things this episode does choose to focus on, I was enjoying. We get a big flashback, which had me engaged the whole way through, and we got some more context on some of the characters and events, like Ribbit, who I thought was great. There are some cool interactions throughout the episode, and we get answers to a good amount of the questions we've been asking for years. When this leaked, people were saying the ending was really bad, but personally I found it to be pretty satisfying, if not a little predictable. And that's about all I can say about spoilers. TLDR, I liked it. Far from perfect, but also far from bad as well. There's a lot of good, but there's also a noticeable amount of bad. But I did enjoy the ending, so overall, I believe it is a good episode. Okay, now's the time for spoilers, big spoilers, every spoiler possible. If you haven't seen it, leave now! Or stay, I mean, it's really up to you. I mean, I watch stuff with spoilers all the time and stuff I haven't even really seen.
This whole thing, all of this, it's all about me.
I have a lot to say, so I'm just going to run through my thoughts in order of when they happened. Fan favourite character Orange Talking Fish at the start was pretty funny. He pulls up, tells you not to film or spoil, and prays for Kane's soul. Imagine if he knew the whole thing leaked a couple weeks ago. Jax's abstraction. I feel like everyone and their mum knew he was going to abstract, but the lead up to it is truly baffling to me. Jax walks up to Pomni and is about to say something, but then just says never mind, and Pomni just lets him walk off. I just don't think she'd do that. She'd normally try to get him to open up. She even said she should have tried a little harder, and I'm like, yeah, normally you would. I don't know what. When it cut to the next scene and we found out Jax abstracted off screen, I couldn't believe it. You know what else I couldn't believe? Pomni and Ragatha's conversation at the start of this episode. Ragatha says Pomni is one of the best things that's ever happened to her in the circus, and I really had to scratch my head when this dialogue was uttered. I do not buy that at all. Most of their interactions in this show have been painfully awkward, and even the last few episodes, their conversations don't give off "you're my best friend" energy. And the reconciliation they were supposed to have happened off screen, so this moment is not earned at all. On a more positive note, I really like that Gangle couldn't bring herself to cry over Jax abstracting. accepting. Makes perfect sense. He actively tried to make her circus life an absolute misery. So if she broke down for him here, I would have lost my mind. Now let's talk about something that has a bit more meat to it. Let's talk about everyone's favorite character. Jax has been a controversy since episode 2, and it's only gotten worse over time as he gets more and more screen time with each passing episode. So naturally when the poster dropped and he takes up like 80% of it, people became worried that he would slurp up all the screen time in the final episode. Those concerns ended up being very true, with a large chunk of this movie spent in Jack's mind and flashbacks from before Pomni entered the circus. Now, my problem isn't necessarily with these scenes themselves. Seeing what Jax thinks of everyone was pretty interesting, if not a little weird at points. With the flashbacks, I already praised the direction, and they did a really good job of making Ribbit and Kaufmo likable, which makes what Jax ends up doing to them even sadder. Quality-wise, I really don't have much to complain about. I just feel like this all would have been better as its own episode. Jax being the focus for a majority of the final episode just really doesn't sit right with me, and that's coming from someone who doesn't even hate Jax. I've seen people getting angry at others for not liking Jax or having no sympathy for him. Guys, it's not unreasonable for people to not like Jax. He's an asshole. Yeah, we get more context on why he's an asshole, but doesn't make him any less of one. He single-handedly causes 2 abstractions and causes misery for pretty much everyone currently in the circus, especially Gangu. I hear people saying if you don't like Jax, you must lack media literacy. Jax is not hard to understand. You can understand Jax and still not like him. That's perfectly okay. In the same way that you can understand Jax and love his character, that's perfectly okay too. This isn't me saying I hate Jax, but when others say they do, I totally understand. Now, with all that being said, I thought his last scene with Pomni was really good. When she says he should have just talked to her and he says he doesn't want to go and starts hyperventilating, those moments really hit me. I guess overall, my thoughts on Jack's involvement in this episode are complicated. I thought a lot of these scenes were very well done, but I was also thinking about the fact that Zubor has probably had like 6 lines of dialogue in this episode so far. Bottom line is, I like Jax, but I can't deny that Jax slander is very funny.
I'm the one who causes pain for fun.
Moving on from Jax, I was kind of baffled when Kane came back with 0 explanation, but maybe it's one of those things where you delete something but it's not fully gone and you can restore it with one of them complex codes or something. I don't know, man. As for the ending itself, as I said before, I found it pretty satisfying. I feel like we all knew they were staying in the circus. There was no world where they escaped. So seeing everyone get closure on their real world counterparts was cute. You can kind of tell from the shot where Pomni eats and smiles sadly that she has accepted life in the circus and is going to try and find meaning in there despite the inherent existential dread that comes with it. They're doing a better job than me though. If I had to stay in the circus knowing full well I'm out there in the real world thriving, I'd be pissed. So yeah, I don't know. I thought the ending and the episode as a whole were quite solid. I understand why people love it. I understand why people hate it. I'm sure this episode resonated with a lot of people, just as I'm sure that a lot of people left disappointed. After I came out of the cinema, I asked myself, was this show worth following for a couple years? And now I can say I definitely don't regret the time I spent on it. Do I have a lot of criticisms? Sure I do. But I also can't deny that there's a lot I like about the whole thing too. You can say a lot of things about the Amazing Digital Circus, but you can't deny there was effort put into it. So yeah, I don't know if this finale is mind-blowing or anything, but I really do think it was worth watching, and I am happy that I can leave this show content.
Plus, it would explain why Jonesy has been here the past 2 weeks.